two that were.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Just give us 1 second as we get the Facebook live stream started. But we appreciate you joining us here today.
So much glare in my glasses. I wish I could.
Mhm. Great. All righty. We are all set. So thank you so much for everyone who is joining us on Zoom, for others that are watching this on Facebook Live. We're so excited to have you here tonight to join us. So
Hi.
welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much
Welcome,
for
Ralph.
having me. Thank you, Palkus and Portuguese American Gallery.
Yes. So as everyone knows, we're here for the Portuguese American Artist Gallery Meet the Artist Talk. This initiative is brought to you by the Embassy of Portugal in Washington, D.C., Palcus, and the Chamber of Commerce. My name is Mariana Brazão. I'm a Palcus director for New York, and joining me to co-host the session is the wonderful Leonor Brazão, a visual artist and another member of our lovely gallery team. As you know, we've been relaunching these artist talks this year with the focus of highlighting the incredible work of our Portuguese American artists in visual arts and performing arts as well. Please note that will have a portion for Q&A, so you can submit questions either on Zoom or on Facebook. Just leave your comments below and we'll make sure to get to those towards the end of the talk. So now I'm going to pass it over to Leonor, who's going to introduce our wonderful artists for today.
Thank
Hello,
you.
everyone. My name is Leonor Brazo, and we're here today to meet a wonderful Portuguese American artist, and his name is Ralph Almeida. Ralph is a Brooklyn-based multidisciplinary artist of Portuguese descent. His paintings, drawings, collage, and ceramic tile designs have been shown widely and installed in public and private residences. Almeida's work draws from nature, like animal, horticultural, and landscape motifs, also from the history of decorative arts, from ancient Egypt to William Morris to Mary Meco, and modernism, like artists Miro, Calder, Klee, Kandinsky, and many others. Also, New York architecture and history is also a significant influence in his work. In the past, he studied textile design and fine arts at the Fashion Institute of Technology while freelancing as a textile designer. He has taught art classes, developed museum proprietary items, worked as an assistant art director of 2 independent films, explored fused glass, stained glass, pottery, and illustrated his own children's book. We have a Renaissance artist here with us. Almeida has created a line of seasonally inspired masks for COVID-19 safety, a mosaic houseware line, a textile collection for home, bath, and office in collaboration with Society 6. I hope he shows us some of these products during our conversation. He also launched a virtual reality art gallery and an ongoing series of illustrations for the poetry website Global Poemic. I want to know if you do poems too, but we'll get there. As always, he moves fluidly from fine to decorative arts through a multiplicity of media with an eye towards installation and utility. He has exhibited broadly in New York City, New Delhi, India, Washington, D.C., Las Vegas, Nevada, Connecticut, and Los Angeles, California. Welcome, Ralph, and we can't wait to hear about your artwork.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm ready to do a little PowerPoint with you. I think it's been 3 years since we last chatted. So we have a little bit of catch up to do. I'm gonna step back a couple of years just to catch you up. Let's see. This is a little PowerPoint I put together with some imagery. I decided to start it with all things Portuguese. A couple of years ago, I won the Palcas Christmas card contest. It was decided by the members of Palcas, um, and was very honored to have this.
Very
The
nice.
card, of course, is inspired by colors of the Portuguese flag, the Galo de Barcelo. You can see the Coração de Viana and Sardinhas also, and of course, Portuguese styles, which I love to
Very nice.
create as well. One of the other things I did recently was a book cover from Millicent Accardi. She is a Portuguese poet. Millicent did an article for me for the Portuguese American Journal after I illustrated a poem for her for Global Polemic, which is who you mentioned earlier. It was an online digital poetry collaboration between artists and poets.
And she did an interview with you, right? She interviewed you,
She
or was it
interviewed me, and then it was published in the Portuguese American Journal.
very nice?
And then
Yeah, I saw
then
on your
she
website. Very, very interesting. Very
yeah, and then
interesting.
she reached out to do this book cover with me.
Nice.
She's a fabulous poet. You should check out her writings. So being it's the 50-year anniversary of the Carnation Revolution, sort of just randomly, I knew that it had happened, but I just randomly started doing this. It wasn't really so conscious, but I started doing carnations kind of out of the blue. Found myself doing these. This is a series of watercolors. I did some pencil drawings of it. I did some digital. And when I say digital, I mean I work them on my phone. Some people may use their laptop, but I was able to do it on my phone because a lot of times I'm doing this stuff in transit on the train. It gives me something to do on the train. I've essentially, appropriated, as we know the story, as the soldiers marched in the street with the carnations in the barrels of their gun. I've appropriated the symbol as a symbol of peace. Of course, during the times that we're dealing with at this current moment, I thought it was kind of appropriate. So since our last conversation, I was looking at my Instagram feed trying to see, what those things were that I have curated. And I did a lot of I decided to start working with this company called Society 6. They'll take my designs and they can put them on a multiple of products, from shower curtains to coasters to blankets. It's lifestyle stuff. It could be for the bathroom. It could be for the
Or
kitchen.
even furniture. Even furniture. I have an account there too. It's very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with the carnation idea, I decided to do a whole carnation series. You can find this stuff at my Society 6 website on the link tree on my Instagram. On my Instagram page, which is Rafa_art, you can find a link tree link, and under that has a bunch of hyperlinks. You can find all things Rafa art there. But I cultivated it in different patterns, as you can see here. But this is when I say digital, this is a digital pattern. I created on my phone, and then I uploaded those images to Society 6.
And when you say you did on your phone, do you do like in Photoshop, or is like what kind of drawing program?
It's a very simple app, actually, and um, it's just called Sketchbook, actually.
Oh, sketchbook, I have it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the process. I like the way you draw. It's very process driven, kind of organic,
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
very
The
nice.
digital, and I was kind of opposed to digital at first. I was like, no, I'm only handwork. But then eventually, as you start to do it, the accessibility becomes very inviting to you. You're like, oh my God, I just did this design in like half an hour, or these multitude of designs in half an hour. Of course, it took me time to upload things to Society 6, but so moving along. So also last year, this is where I began a new series of collage, paper collage. I exhibited this at a venue called Atlantic Art Walk, which I'll get into a little bit later also. Um, this was one of them. It's called Alphabet Soup. And this particular piece, I always tell people kudos if you can find all the letters in the alphabet in here, because they're all there. And this is also another idea that I thought would make a wonderful tapestry. It's on paper, but I thought I really needed to do this in fabric. I thought it would be a great idea. As you can see, I created a banner out of it. If you look at the very top, there's like a stick there, a little dowel that is holding it up. So from here, from this collage series, I started these, which you saw behind me in, which you'll see behind me when I come out of the PowerPoint. And then from this collage series, this is more handwork. I was able to once again create these lovely patterns on Society 6. So it can kind of go either way. I can, create these patterns with something digital, or I can create it something that I've done with my tiles, or I can even do, this paper collage idea I turned into these designs also. And the good thing about Society 6 is one of my customers can sign on and order one of these items, like a knapsack. This knapsack is maybe about $40 or $50 online, and they do sales, so the price can come down, but you can totally order one thing. So at no cost to me, I don't have to buy 12 of these and have them in my apartment and then ship them out and worry about all that shipping costs and stuff. They will do the printing and the shipping for me and get it out.
Yeah, and as my experience, the quality is really, really good. The quality.
Yes, the colors are incredible. I'm going to show you. I did order a couple pieces to show, actual pieces to show you also when we come out of this. So from here, what's my next cue? This was fairly recent pieces. I call it fraternals, of course, inspired by modern art and Portuguese tiles and tile work in general, because my tile work kind of ranges all over the place. I don't just do Portuguese tiles. But that was my inspiration for these pieces. It's a diptych. It is a two-piece. I, for whatever reason, went on a range of diptychs. Also, I have like at least 6 diptychs that I've done in the past few years. And what's next? This is acrylic on canvas. Each one of those is 18 by 24. So this was probably one of my more recent exhibits. I haven't done a ton of exhibits in the past few years, but I did this one in 2023. Atlantic Avenue Art Walk is an annual thing in Brooklyn. All the venues on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn, whether it's a furniture store or a lifestyle store, there's a multitude of businesses along Atlantic Avenue. There's even vintage antique stores, but these stores invite artists to hang work in their venues. And then when you go to the art walk, you will get a map at whatever the venue is you go to, and then it'll tell you which venues have artwork, and you can stop at each of them. There's even outdoor installations also, and people doing outdoor graffiti stuff sometimes on sides of buildings. So it's a wonderful community thing, endorsed thing. And lots of Brooklynites get involved, and there's other galleries that even get involved. And Why Not Art, which is a big Brooklyn artist organization that supports Brooklyn artists, is great, as well as the Atlantic Avenue Arts Association. This particular venue that I was in was a completely gutted out venue. It had been an office space at some point in other venues, and other things were going on in this space, but one of the curators managed to ask about it. It was actually up for rent, and asked if we could use it for a bunch of artists. So I want to say a total of about 8 artists showed in this particular space. Not always the case with some of the venues. Sometimes there's only one artist.
Very nice.
So
are all the artworks are yours on the right and on your left too?
yes, all of these on the right, these are a
Like
reflection.
Like found objects or
So the one on the left, yes, is an upcycled series.
yeah,
They're basically cardboard. And once again, as I was telling you guys earlier, I'm playing on the totemic idea that I do,
very
that I
cool.
play around a lot with. There on the left. And then these are acrylics. One of them is azulejo style, the tiles. And then there's, of course, the fraternals, which I showed you already. And then what's next? So I did some tiles for the Tenement Museum, this mother tile, but the most recent one I did is this one in the middle. It's based on wallpaper in the Historic Tenement Museum. For those who don't know, this historic tenement was built in 1863. We talk about families that immigrated through Ellis Island and then settled in what was the most densely populated area at that time, turn of the century. Starting in 1863, going to turn of the century into 1930s. This particular paper is circa 1900, but it's in one of the apartments in the tenement.
Very nice. I love the blues too. Very
It's
beautiful.
Thank you. It's a great museum. You should definitely visit it. We talk about a multitude of families. We talk about families between 1863 and 1930, and then we extended our mission post post turn of the century. We start getting into talking about Holocaust survivors, a Chinese family, and a Puerto Rican family, all people that settled on the Lower East Side post our original tenement building.
Very nice.
And last but not least, I recently had the pleasure to do an interview with Canvas Rebel. It's a digital interview. Once again, you can find all this stuff in my link tree, which is on my IG, on my Instagram, Rafa_art. Another company that supports small businesses. They reached out to me to do an interview with them. It's very much a meet Ralph Rafa Art also kind of interview. The thing I liked about them was you were able to curate the interview on your own. They had drop downs with multiple questions, and then you could choose from what questions you liked that you wanted to answer, which was great. And then a big thank you, of course, to Palkas and the Portuguese American Gallery for celebrating me. I'm gonna
Wonderful.
come
Great.
out of here.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, yeah, we can start the questions. So, everyone in the audience are welcome to send questions to the QA or on Facebook. But Marianne, you want to start with the questions?
Yeah, that was such a great recap going through these past few years and so many different projects and mediums. So I guess I'm kind of looking forward, like where are you drawing inspiration from for right now, for your projects right now and looking forward?
So right now I've been doing the carnation thing. I'm going to show you a quick merch thing that I got from them.
Oh
This
yes, that's
tote bag.
perfect.
I just did this tote. It's available.
Very good quality.
They are good. I love the print. As you can see, the colors are very much, you
Yeah,
know, are in line with the
beautiful.
colors in the digital. And then I have this
Oh
notebook
wow,
also opens up,
it's gorgeous.
and then it happens to be blank. I tend to do blank ones. You can get them lined also if you order them online. You can do
Yeah,
blank or lined. But I tend to do blank for the
you
artist to
can
need.
draw.
Yeah,
You can draw. Right?
exactly. The thing
Yeah,
I like too is you can, once you set these designs, you can always go back and rework them. Also feel like, you know what, I don't really like though. I want to do something else with this design and switch it around. It allows you to do that. And I can even do that for my customer. My customer's like, can I just get the single carnation on the tote bag? Like I can totally, make that happen for them.
yeah. And I visit your store actually at Society 6, and I notice you have several designs, not only that one, right? I have about six,
I have like 10.
10 designs. Okay.
So recently they changed the format on there. So I for a free account you can have up to 10 designs. After that they start charging you. There's like a
Oh,
membership level and
okay,
you can
gotcha.
get involved in other things after that. But I stay with the free account which allows you to do up to 10 designs.
Yeah.
Um So
I want to just remind our audience that these are great presents for Christmas, special occasions.
yes, and during Christmas they typically will do only twice a year do they do 50% off sales.
Wow.
But Christmas in and around December they do that. But holiday is always a big time for me also when that happens. I get a lot of sales during Christmas. It's
Yeah,
typically
most
a
of
good time.
your designs are Portuguese inspired. So this is a great present for the grandmas, for the mothers, for the girlfriends, boyfriends, etc. Everyone
Exactly.
is, yeah, everyone is.
I did have the Gallo card design on bags and stuff, but I removed it at this time. I figured I'd bring it back when it's seasonal for the moment, but for a holiday card. But I did have that up there at one point also.
Very nice. I see the beautiful collage you have on the background,
Mhm.
and you showed us also that you use that for Society 6, but you mentioned to us before that you have a little dream about a new project doing with another media for this specific design. You said maybe with fabric. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So I love these paper ones. I think they're really accessible. But my thing was I really thought that they should be a tapestry also. You can't really tell, but there happen to be 6 different panels. It's not one panel. But if you put them together, it creates one big piece. And so upon doing that, I was like, oh my God, these would make a wonderful tapestry. I'm thinking I would do them maybe in a felt style design. I'm not really a sewer. So I'm not quite sure how I would task myself to do it, but I always manage to work things out. There's always ways around not sewing in order to do it. I think I could probably figure it out. But my first idea was to do felt. I'm not quite sure what else I would do. It could be a canvas, a canvas tapestry also. I could totally do it on canvas. The same thing, like I was saying, I'm pointing that way because that's where my alphabet soup one is hanging over there.
Yeah.
So the same thing, like I was thinking about doing that on canvas.
It
So yeah.
really is striking. I think it would look absolutely beautiful and felt just kind of hanging down and to give that scale
Yeah.
and
It could
volume.
be tiles too.
And
I see that
yes,
in
also
ceramic
you
too.
mentioned tiles. So that
Yeah.
happens to me a lot. Like after I do something, then I'm like, oh, okay, now it's time to do this in tiles. And the whole
Mhm.
idea with the carnation started like, oh, I want to do these in tiles, but I just didn't really have the time. There's a lot involved with that. Um, as far as getting them, painting them, getting them fired. There's some logistics involved in that. So I knew that I could knock it out a lot quicker with this, especially when I knew I had this coming up. I was like, oh, this would be great to have as a presentation for the exhibit.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a
Tile, you
question.
look forward to seeing some carnation tiles. I
Yes,
may have to
We
do 50 for the 50 year.
That's a great
it's a
idea.
good
That's
idea.
a great idea. We have a question on QA. It's from Millicent Borge Accardi.
Mhm.
And she says, I'm the author of Quarantine Highway, and Ralph's cover made the book great. I want to know what project Ralph is working on next. Is that particular in the Luzu community? By the way, we have Ralph's towels, great quality.
She did get some tiles from me, actually. I believe they were an anniversary present to her husband. It may have been on point with the, ceramic, the thing that you're supposed to give on that particular year. Um, but I'm probably going to do some more things with Society 6. And then the carnation tiles are definitely a must. My niece said she was going to help me with executing some of that, the logistics of that. And hopefully, the thing that I've been trying to say that I want to do is to do some sort of pop-up shop in the city where I can have more foot traffic. That's a big thing for me right now, the visibility. And also open studios, which I've been doing here. I will do usually maybe 2 or 3 in a year. It's a lot of work to have someone, people in your apartment, but I was scheduling people at appropriate, hourly schedule, and had people come by. If anyone's ever interested in that, I can certainly, feel free to make an appointment with me to come by and see my studio. I also
I
have,
will.
I
I
also
will.
I
Me
also
too.
have work in California in San Pedro. I have a gallery there that is holding on to some work for me.
Beautiful.
if anyone is in California and wanted to stop there. But thank God she has the work because I don't have a ton of space in my apartment. My studio doubles as, my apartment doubles as a studio, if I didn't mention that, or if you can't figure that out. But yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we have a buyer here, Ralph. Barbara Toback. The
Yes.
tile, ask not what your mother can do. Great Mother's Day gift. I'd like to buy one. So,
So Barbara knows that those are available at the Tenement Museum, actually. Um, there is a link in on my Instagram that has Linktree has a hyperlink to the mother tile that brings you to the Tenement Shop website. I believe they have a couple left. I'm currently in the process of trying to fill an order for them. They ordered about 36 from me. So if you click on the link and it doesn't bring you to it, that means they're out of it. But the Tenement Museum is where you can find them.
Perfect.
wonderful.
And I know we
Yeah.
keep referencing this link tree, so just reminding everyone, it can also be found on Ralph's website, artist page on the gallery, but I'll just say it out loud too, so you'll have it. It is link tr period ee dash Rafa Arts, and that is RAFFAART. But it's such a great resource, and you can really get a lot of wonderful links and resources to Ralpha's work. What's been so great too is I think you've shown us so many different mediums and just the creativity of where you're navigating to Society 6 and all these projects. So I'm sure we have people on here who are starting out, kind of unsure about how to share their work and on which platforms. So I'm kind of curious, what do you recommend to those amateur artists that are starting and
I have a
thinking through how
lot
to
of
go about this?
recommendations, definitely, because I've been down that road. One of the things I always tell people, first of all, of course, is always to explore your mediums like I do. Don't stay stuck in one particular medium because there's so much out there to explore. Whether you want to do sculpting or tile work. Leonore, I know you do a multitude of mediums yourself.
Yeah.
It's really important. It helps you express yourself in different ways. Um, I would also tell young budding artists to, be inspired with their travel. Traveling has helped me. Visiting museums, of course. New York has a ton of museums. I probably go to at least, half a dozen exhibits in a year. And that's not a lot per se, but it's still, fans the fire for me. And anytime that I leave an exhibit, and I just saw the Harlem Renaissance exhibit that was at the Met. Anytime I leave an exhibit and come home and want to work, then I know that that was, a very powerful exhibit for me. Also resource books are a good thing. Any art books. I have bookshelf here filled with stuff that I find myself. Some I don't always get to explore, but eventually I will find myself, flipping through them. One of the big things also, people always think they have to be seen in major galleries. And that wasn't always the way. In order for me to feel that I needed to be seen, I thought I would start community-based. So I was reaching out to things in my neighborhood. There's an artisan style store in my neighborhood called the Brooklyn Artery that shows artisan style work there. Reach out to those places. If you see a hair salon that shows artwork in your neighborhood, go talk to them, get your work in there. If you see a restaurant that exhibits artwork, get out there, because this is what's really going to make you comfortable for those bigger spaces, and to exhibit into those spaces. Whatever it is, that's what you got to do. You got to do the work, though.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
beautiful.
Those,
Such
those, those are my
beautiful.
those are my touching points.
Yeah.
Beautiful advice, and I love that last point. As you said, it's just it's getting the opportunity to showcase all the forms, and I often believe in the power of that. Is just showing up in your community, having your community see your work, and then how that just creates an energy that continues to expand and grow. So I think that's
Definitely.
extremely beautiful.
Then you'll meet people there also that tell you
Yeah.
about other things. They'll be like, "Oh, there's street fair going on," or
Yeah.
you from there you just grow. and it does
Absolutely.
truly make you more comfortable. Because part of
Absolutely.
it is being comfortable. You have to wear all the hats, right, when you're an artist most of the time. So, and not all artists are good with the business aspect, or can even be a people person. That's sometimes tough also.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things in my life that I've had to do other than art that have taught me to be that, to be that approachable and have open energy for people. And those things help you do that.
Absolutely. It's a process of development of yourself, your soul. You have to open yourself to everything, to do whatever it takes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a question, Marianne. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I see such a huge Portuguese influence in your work. You
Mhm.
you you gravitate to those roots all the time to inspire you. But you share with us you have never been to Madeira. So I just don't know how you grew up. How was your connection? I know your one of your parents was Portuguese, another one was Brazilian.
Mhm.
Can you share with us how the culture influenced so much? Where it comes from that impact?
Absolutely. I've been to Portugal 2 times. Um, and I was definitely inspired. It wasn't until the later trip that I was more involved in tile work because the first trip was probably my first trip out of the United States actually, and I was only about 21 years old, so I hadn't really quite developed the interest. But as far as the culture at home, um, it related to so that my mother would listen to fado on Sundays. That was like a typical thing for her to do. And I was definitely very inspired by that music. The food also, linguiça and chorizo were a big thing in our family. There was a deli. I lived in Connecticut, but I also spent some time in Rhode Island. And there used to be a deli there my mother used to bring me to, and it was Portuguese. And when you would walk in, all you could do was smell the Portuguese sausage and the chorizo and the linguiça. And that brings back such memories for me. I used to just love going there. It was usually typically other errands that my mother was doing also, but we always would make a stop there. And it was just such a wonderful old world feeling in that space also. Family reunions were a big thing. My mother had brothers, and we would get together. My mother would do her Portuguese things. She loved her Portuguese rice that she would do. And then my sometimes she would do carne de vinho, which is the marinated pork roast in vinegar and lots of garlic, and then you would typically fry it up, or my mother would bake it in the oven. Um, and that was a big thing. And of course, bolos, codfish bolos, were a big thing. And so each of my uncles and the families we would come together, and there would be Portuguese food, and that
So
was
are these memories of childhood, right? That we're talking about the space of belonging, the
yeah,
place where you
exactly.
felt like your roots were there.
Yes, although Portuguese wasn't fluently spoken, there were always phrases and sayings that were said in the house. And also of course, there were Galo de Barcelos in my home. My mother had a knickknack shelf around the kitchen, and those were in the house as well. That was a big deal. I didn't later incorporate those until I started doing paintings and tile work into my actual work. But there was definitely a lot of influences.
Wonderful.
That's absolutely beautiful. And I think, I even resonate with that a lot. The smells, the certain words. So I think you feel that those essences come out in your work, which is really exciting to see.
Yeah, thank
And
you. And the
I know
modernism, of course.
exactly it's changing and evolving, and the way you're kind of funneling that is beautiful. So I know we're coming up over the time. So Ralph, I wanted to give you an opportunity if there's any last parting words or things you'd like to share with those who are listening.
I would like to thank, of course, Palcus and the Portuguese American Gallery for hosting me for another wonderful event. Young artists, please get out there and do your thing. Anyone who's creative, just don't stop. Just keep doing what you love to do.
It's great. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, whether you're listening now or later on a recording. We appreciate you being here. I want to let everyone know that we will have our next Meet the Artist talk next month on September 10th, same time, 7 to 7:30 Eastern Time with Donald Mata. And please be sure to visit Ralph's page on the PortugueseAmericanArtGallery.com. And we look forward to seeing you
Thank
soon.
you to the
Thanks so
audience
much,
also.
everyone.
Thank you so much for showing up.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great night.
Bye, guys. Thank you.